Today, we're going to see the strongest devil fruits in One Piece that are, unfortunately, owned by weak users that kill their potential. Let's start with the most famous one, Buggy the Clown and his Chop Chop fruit. On the surface, it might seem like a rather goofy and underwhelming ability, the power to detach and control your own body parts. But think about the true versatility of that fruit. Imagine if it was wielded by someone with true combat prowess and a thirst for power, like Doflamingo or Crocodile. They could turn their entire bodies into deadly projectile weapons, raining down slashes and piercing blows from every angle, and the ability to detach your limbs means you could essentially create an entire army of disembodied, autonomous body parts to overwhelm your foes. Buggy, with his cowardly and comical nature, completely fails to capitalize on the true potential of his devil fruit. If he had the ambition and fighting skills of, say, Doflamingo, he could be a downright terrifying pirate. Following next, Perona and her Hollow fruit, the power to project her negative aura and sap the will to fight out of her opponents. This is a frighteningly overpowered ability when you really think about it. In the hands of a truly merciless and dominant fighter, it could be a game changer. Imagine Kaido or Big Mom using this fruit. They could effortlessly crush the morale and fighting spirit of entire armies before moving in for the kill. Perona herself was able to easily take down powerhouses like Zoro and Usopp with this ability, but her relatively passive and non-confrontational nature prevents her from fully exploring its dark potential. If someone like Doflamingo or Crocodile wielded the Hollow fruit, they could turn it into a terrifying weapon of psychological warfare. The third would be Foxy and his Slow fruit. At first glance, it might seem like a rather goofy and situational ability, but just imagine the kind of devastation it could wreak in the hands of a true master, a fighter with Kizaru's speed and precision, or Katakuri's future sight. If they had the power to drastically slow down the movements of anyone they touch, they could essentially freeze their opponents in place and tear them apart at their leisure. Foxy, with his childish antics and love of cheap tricks, utterly fails to push the Slow fruit to its true limits. But in the grip of a ruthless, calculated villain, it could be a terrifying and nearly unstoppable power. To discuss our fourth, let's revisit Khalifa and her Bubble fruit. On the surface, it might seem like a rather innocuous and even comical ability, the power to generate and manipulate bubbles, but consider the true versatility of this devil fruit in the hands of a skilled and ruthless fighter. Imagine someone like Crocodile or Doflamingo wielding this power. They could create inescapable, suffocating bubbles and control them with pinpoint precision. They could trap opponents, smother them, or even launch the bubbles as projectile weapons. Khalifa herself demonstrated the potential of this fruit when she used it to incapacitate Nami, Chopper, and Frankie with her soap woman technique, but she largely uses it for mundane tasks like cleaning, completely failing to explore its true combat applications. If someone with Doflamingo's cunning and Crocodile's thirst for power had this fruit, they could turn it into a terrifying and unstoppable force. Fifth, there's Absalom and his Clear fruit. The ability to turn invisible? That's the kind of power that nightmares are made of when you think about it. Imagine if someone like Rob Lucci or Katakuri had this devil fruit. They could infiltrate anywhere, strike from the shadows, and disappear without a trace. A skilled assassin or thief with the Clear fruit could wreak untold havoc. Absalom himself demonstrates the potential of this power when he repeatedly ambushed and overwhelmed the Straw Hats, but he mostly just uses it to indulge his perverted desires like peeping on women. Such a monumental waste of an incredibly potent ability. In the hands of a true master of stealth and combat, the Clear fruit could elevate someone to the ranks of the most feared pirates or marines in the world. On the sixth, we have Enel and his Rumble fruit. The power to generate and control massive amounts of electricity? That's the kind of ability that could turn the tide of any battle. Imagine a warrior like Kizaru or Fujitora armed with Enel's lightning power. They would be nigh unstoppable. Enel himself was able to effortlessly dominate the entire Skypiea region with his devil fruit, casually wiping out entire villages and shrugging off most physical attacks. But his own inflated ego and delusions of godhood prevented him from truly unlocking the Rumble fruit's full potential. If someone with Akainu's relentless determination and Aokiji's tactical brilliance possessed this power, they could reshape the very landscape of the One Piece world. Seventh, we have Monet and her Snow fruit. Truly a fascinatingly underutilized devil fruit. Imagine someone like Admiral Aokiji, the Blue Pheasant himself, possessing the Snow fruit. With his already formidable cryokinetic abilities, the addition of this devil fruit power would make him nigh unstoppable. He could conjure blizzards of Arctic fury, unleash avalanches to bury his foes, and even sculpt towering fortresses of ice to defend himself. Aokiji's mastery of ice manipulation, combined with the Snow fruit's reality warping winter powers, could allow him to reshape the very terrain to suit his needs. He could freeze the ocean, encase entire islands in permafrost, and trap opponents in unbreakable prisons of ice. And the synergy between Aokiji's existing abilities and the Snow fruit doesn't end there. Imagine if he were to push the boundaries of this devil fruit's power even further. He could potentially summon towering glaciers, conjure deadly icicle storms, or even create sentient ice constructs to serve as his loyal soldiers. The sheer scale and versatility of the winter landscape hellscape he could command would be the stuff of nightmares. Monet's own demonstration of freezing an entire region pales in comparison to the devastation an admiral-level combatant like Aokiji could unleash. But what if we take this thought experiment even further? Picture a foe even more formidable than Aokiji, someone like the fearsome Emperor Kaido, the beast of the One Piece world, wielding the Snow Fruit. Kaido's already immense physical strength, durability, and Zoan-type resilience, when combined with the ability to manipulate an entire winter ecosystem, would be the height of terrifying power. He could weather the harshest blizzards, shrug off biting cold, and use the very environment to his advantage. Kaido could freeze the seas to prevent escape, create avalanches to bury his enemies, and even summon hordes of ice-based creatures to do his bidding. At 8, there's Wapol and his Metal Fruit. At first glance, it might seem like a fairly limited ability, the power to consume and transform into metal, but consider the implications if this devil fruit was wielded by someone with genuine combat prowess and a thirst for destruction. A warrior like Kaido or Big Mom, with the Metal Fruit at their disposal, could forge their own bodies into impenetrable, near indestructible armor, creating devastating metallic constructs and weapons, and even assimilate the very environment around them to bolster their defenses. Wapol himself demonstrated the versatility of this fruit, transforming into a cannon-firing, armor-plated monstrosity. But his selfish, cowardly nature prevented him from ever pushing the Metal Fruit to its true limits. Imagine the kind of havoc a strategic genius like Doflamingo or a berserker like Zoan-type Luffy could wreak with this ability at their disposal. Doflamingo, with his keen intellect and penchant for manipulation, could weave intricate metal webs to ensnare and crush his opponents. Luffy, with the raw power and durability granted by the Metal Fruit, could become an unstoppable juggernaut, shrugging off attacks and smashing through any obstacle in his path. The very thought of these titans of the One Piece world wielding Wapol's seemingly mundane Devil Fruit ability is enough to send a shiver down the spine of even the most seasoned fan. At 9th, we have Mr. 3 and his Wax Fruit. At first glance, it might seem like a fairly mundane and limited power, the ability to create and control wax, but in the hands of a truly skilled and creative user, this Devil Fruit could become a tactical powerhouse. Imagine someone like Robin or Katakuri wielding the Wax Fruit. They could trap, immobilize, and even kill their opponents by encasing them in inescapable wax prisons or constructs. Mr. 3 himself demonstrated the potential of this ability when he nearly defeated Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji with this Candle Champion technique, but his own cowardly and uninspired nature prevented him from fully exploring the Wax Fruit's full potential. A more ruthless and cunning user like the tactical genius Doflamingo or the shape-shifting prodigy Katakuri could turn this seemingly innocuous power into a devastating and versatile tool of control and domination. Imagine Doflamingo weaving intricate wax traps to ensnare his opponents, or Katakuri transforming his limbs into razor-sharp wax blades to slice through even the sturdiest of defenses. The possibilities are truly horrifying to behold. Last but not least, how could we possibly leave this topic without discussing one last Devil Fruit with immense untapped potential, Gecko Moria and his Shadow Fruit. The Shadow Fruit at its core grants the user the power to steal the very shadows of their opponents and manipulate them as they see fit. In the hands of a true monster of the One Piece world, this Devil Fruit could become a weapon of unimaginable terror and devastation. Imagine someone like the ruthless and calculating Doflamingo, the heavenly demon himself, wielding the Shadow Fruit. With his keen intellect and penchant for manipulation, Doflamingo could amass an entire army of shadow puppets to do his bidding. He could steal the shadows of powerful fighters, imbuing them with monstrous strength and sapping the will to fight right out of his opponents. Doflamingo could create veritable hordes of unstoppable shadow soldiers, overwhelming his foes with sheer numbers and overwhelming power. And the true horror of Doflamingo with the Shadow Fruit lies in his ability to control his shadow minions with precision. He could command them to perform intricate tactical maneuvers, synchronize their attacks, and even use them as extensions of his own body, striking from multiple angles simultaneously. Imagine the heavenly demon weaving a web of shadows to ensnare and crush his enemies, draining the life and spirit right out of them before moving in for the kill. As we've seen today, even the most seemingly innocuous or underwhelming Devil Fruit abilities can become the stuff of legends in the right hands. Buggy's Chop Fruit, Perona's Hollow Fruit, Monet's Snow Fruit, the list goes on and on. The power of these deceptively potent abilities, when wielded by true titans of the One Piece world, is enough to send shivers down the spine. But you know, that's what makes this series so endlessly fascinating, doesn't it? The depth, the complexity, the sheer creative brilliance that oozes from every panel. Oda has crafted a world where even the most minor or forgettable details can spark the imagination and send us spiraling into captivating what-if scenarios. So what do you say? Are you ready to dive even deeper into the world of One Piece and uncover the next big what-if that's waiting just around the corner to be discovered? Let's keep that Straw Hat spirit alive, my friends, and never stop chasing the thrill of the unknown. See you next time!